So don't have the greatest bench for this for what I should be doing. I probably don't have the greatest bench. I mean, and a lot of that is caused from just poor shoulder mobility and just whenever I used to press, I used to have a lot of pain. But then I started getting into sort of like a routine and certain exercises I would do before I would warm up. And this is an untraditional type of thing. Like, when you see people warm up for chest, you see like the most typical thing is someone grabs the bench or something or like the rack and they stretch their chest out or whatever. I don't know what that movement is called, but if you know what I'm talking about, then it was a terrible description. But anyway, so what I like to do for before I warm up for benching is I like to warm up my shoulders. And you'll see the first movement that I do is a high-low walk with kettlebells. And I'll just walk down and back, down and back, down and back a couple of times. And what that does, it allows me to just stabilize my shoulder and get my shoulder warmed up for kind of like that overhead type of pressing. And I know a bench is a straight press, but still, when you do bench, you do still press straight up. And what that is allowing me to do is warm up for that type of movement. And then the next one you'll see is where I punch the wall. So you'll see me kind of like a hand on the wall, the other hand is pressing kettlebell in the air in a half kneeling position. So what that allows me to do is it allows me to just focus on getting in a good upright position, stabilizing my shoulder, getting my spine and shoulder retracted, keeping my spine in a neutral position, putting my shoulder blades back like I am in a bench when you get ready for the bench, and then pressing, just warming up the shoulder and the pressing type of motion, just like a bench is, like a press. And I really love doing that 3 times for probably about 10 reps on each arm. And you can do that for longer, maybe more weight, whatever it may be. You can do even bottoms up with the kettlebell where you're holding the grip and the bottom of the kettlebell is up facing the floor. That'll really help with stabilizing the shoulder and warming up the shoulder even more probably. And then the next movement you will see me do is the wall circles. And that is probably one of my go-to and my staple movements just because it warms up your shoulders and that the whole rotator cuff AC joint and every part of your shoulder. The parts I have a lot of issues with this rotator cuff and AC joint, and those are the parts of shoulders that I try and focus on and I try and warm up as most and best as possible. But it really works on just that full range of motion in the shoulder, really warming that shoulder up, the good light body weight type of movement. And you do about 15 to 20 circles each arm. And then the next one you'll see me get into is just the wall test, basically. And that is where your heels go against against the wall. Butt is touching the wall. Elbows try and stay against the wall. And then you're going to press up and your elbows are try and stay on the wall. I don't do that necessarily, but I do notice that this helps me a lot with getting my spine and my shoulders retracted and working on stabilizing and pressing up nice and slowly to just try and warm up those shoulders as best as possible. And honestly, I did these exercises before and I hit a bench, not a PR, but I hit a weight times rep PR. So I did 210 by 5, and that was the most I've been able to do 210 for in about 6 years. So that was a big win, and I do credit a lot to the warm-up exercises we did. So, I hope you're enjoying these exercises and these warm-up movements for benching, pressing, and whatnot. I really briefly want to get into the bench setup. So you'll see around the 4:29 mark of this video, you will see how I set up for the bench. And what I like to do is first I get my hand and grip position where I want to grip the bench. And then what I do is I kind of put my eyes to the bar and then my butt goes up. I'll get my feet situated. And then before I bench, what I like to think about is my right shoulder will then tuck into the bench, and I'll think about like gripping the bench with my right shoulder, and then I'll bring my left shoulder down, and I'll do that same thing where I'll kind of like grip and hook my 2 shoulder blades into the bench, into the bench seat, and then I'll stay there nice and tight, and then I'll unrack the bar and press. And the biggest thing is, like I said, when you get ready for a bench, you want to start at the feet. Make sure those feet are nice and comfortable. You're in a good position where you can use hip drive when you are benching. And then the second thing is just making sure that you're retracting your shoulder blades, getting those shoulders nice and set up on the bench, and think about almost like gripping the bench with your shoulder blades. And then when you unrack, make sure you're not unracking too far and the bar is almost lined up with your eyes. Hope that helps. See you guys next video.